Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital spoilers. Carly asked Brennan to find a fall guy. Pin Jagger's shooting on someone else. General Hospital, GH, spoilers reveal that Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, will turn to a familiar face for help during the week of September 9 to 13. Carly will grow increasingly nervous about the alibi she's providing for Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bernard, since they could both go down if he's arrested for Agent John Jagger Cates. Adam J. Harrington, murder. Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, warned Carly this could be the favor that costs her everything if her luck has finally run out. Carly has put a lot on the line for Sonny's sake, but it's really for Donna Corinthos, Scarlet Spears' sake too, since she's keeping her daddy out of prison. Unfortunately, both Carly and Sonny could land behind bars if the whole truth comes to light. Carly has put herself right back in the same position she was in when John was alive and harassing her over that mob recording. However, Jack Brennan, Charles Mazur, came through for Carly when all that drama was going on and could come through for her once again. Brennan made the evidence disappear and proved he can be a pretty powerful person when he wants to be. The only way for Sonny and Carly to truly put this mess behind them is for someone else to get convicted of the crime. Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Gran, has made herself a suspect by tossing the gun Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy, stole off the footbridge, which Rick Lansing, Rick Hurst, and Elizabeth Baldwin, Rebecca Herbst, witnessed. Sonny would never let Alexis or Christina go down for something he did, so maybe what Sonny and Carly really need is a fall guy. Could that be why Carly will ask for Brennan's assistance in GA's September 10 episode? John had plenty of enemies, presumably even other mob bosses and rotten criminals with vendettas. There's probably a long list of people that fans don't even know about who wanted Agent Cates dead. What if Brennan manages to pin this on someone else? Of course, Brennan would need something to make it worth his while, so maybe this will be his bargaining chip to convince Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, to do his bidding. Perhaps Jason will have no choice but to strike a deal if he wants to help Sonny and Carly keep their freedom. General Hospital spoilers say Brennan always has a few tricks up his sleeve, so stick with us for updates on his next move and predictions on whether it'll mean good news for the Corinthos clan. Carly Corinthos stood in the dimly lit room of her house, her heart pounding as she replayed the events of the past week. Everything had gone wrong so fast. Jagger Cates, a man with old ties to Port Charles, had been shot outside a warehouse in a deal that should have been routine. But nothing in this town was ever routine, especially not with Sonny Corinthos, her ex-husband, tangled up in the mob world once again. She had to protect Sonny, even if their relationship was far from what it once was. He was the father of her children, and his life always seemed to put them all at risk. But this time, it wasn't just about Sonny. The police were looking too closely, and the whispers had already begun. Carly could feel the noose tightening around their circle. If something didn't change, it was only a matter of time before Sonny or someone in their inner circle was dragged into court, or worse, into a grave. As Carly paced, the weight of the decision she had to make hung heavily on her shoulders. She needed a plan, a diversion, someone else to take the fall. There was no other way. The cops wouldn't stop until they had a scapegoat. And that's when the thought struck her like lightning. She knew exactly who to call. With a quick glance at her phone, Carly hesitated for only a second before dialing Brennan Carter, a lawyer with shady connections and a reputation for making problems disappear. They'd crossed paths more than once over the years. But this time she needed something bigger than covering up a mistake. She needed a life-altering move. The phone rang twice before Brennan's smooth, cool voice answered on the other end. Carly, he said, always 2 steps ahead. I had a feeling I'd be hearing from you. Let me guess, this is about Jagger's shooting? Carly let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. You already know. I make it my business to know these things, Brennan replied. But you don't sound like someone who's just calling to talk about old times. What do you need? Carly leaned against the wall, her fingers gripping the edge of the windowsill. I need someone to take the heat for this. Jagger's shooting is spiraling out of control. The PCPD is looking for suspects, and they're sniffing around Sonny. If they get too close— Her voice trailed off, the fear clear in her tone. Brennan was silent for a moment, calculating, no doubt already thinking of the angles. You're asking for something dangerous, Carly. You want me to find a fall guy, someone to take the blame for this mess. Exactly, Carly said, the determination in her voice clear now. It doesn't have to be forever, just long enough to get the heat off Sonny. You can do that, can't you? Brennan's pause was unnerving, but Carly could practically hear the wheels turning in his mind. This isn't a game. You're asking me to pin a shooting on someone, to manipulate the entire legal system, and to gamble with a person's life. That's no small request. I wouldn't be calling you if it was small, Carly shot back, her voice laced with urgency. Sonny's been through enough, and my kids, our family, can't afford to lose him. You know the stakes as well as I do. Brennan sighed, a long and contemplative sound. All right, but if I do this, you're going to owe me. Big time, and whoever takes the fall needs to be someone on the periphery. Someone disposable enough that when this is all over, nobody will notice if they vanish. Carly's stomach twisted at the coldness of his words, but she knew he was right. This was the reality of their world. Someone had to go down, and it wasn't going to be Sonny. Not if she had anything to say about it. There's a guy who's been hovering around the docks lately, Brennan continued, his voice now businesslike. Low-level thug, name's Vince Morano. He's got just enough of a record to make it believable that he'd get wrapped up in something like this. He's not connected to anyone important, so if we set this up right, we can make it look like he was the one who pulled the trigger on Jagger. The police will go after him, and by the time they realize they've been chasing the wrong guy, it'll be too late. The trail will be cold. Carly closed her eyes, the relief slowly seeping into her bones. This could work. It had to work. Do it, she said firmly. Set him up, make sure the evidence sticks. And I don't care what you have to do. Just keep Sonny out of this. Brennan chuckled softly, though there was no humor in his voice. You always were ruthless when it came to protecting Sonny. I'll make the arrangements, but like I said, this favor doesn't come for free. I know, Carly replied, her voice steady. I'll pay whatever it takes. As she hung up the phone, Carly stared out the window, her heart heavy despite the plan that was now in motion. She knew this was a line she'd crossed before, bending the rules, making hard choices, doing whatever it took to protect the people she loved. But this time felt different. There was a darker edge to it, a sense that this decision might come back to haunt her in ways she couldn't yet imagine. Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of the front door opening. Sonny stepped into the room, his eyes meeting Carly's with a mix of gratitude and exhaustion. What did Brennan say? He asked, his voice low. It's handled, Carly replied, the words tasting bitter in her mouth. You're going to be safe, Sonny. I took care of it. Sonny nodded, but there was no joy in his expression. They both knew the price that came with this kind of protection, and they both knew that, in Port Charles, no one stayed safe for long. As Carly turned away, her phone buzzed with a new message from Brennan. It's done. The text read, Vince will take the fall. Carly let out a long breath, knowing the storm had passed for now. but wondering how long it would be before the next one came crashing down.